Yeah.
Hello, good morning, everyone. This is Jen Smith here, and I've got my friend Cyreta. We are both PGI consultants, and we get together about every week and do a live session. So this morning we decided to go live in this Facebook group. So good morning, Cyreta. How are you?
Good morning, Jen. Good morning, everyone. So happy to be here. Hope that you're having a fabulous day. I absolutely love Mondays and I love these meetings as well. So hope that you'll enjoy as well.
Yeah, it gets us off to a good start, doesn't it, for the week?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so for this morning, one of the things, the subject we wanted to talk about was responsibility. This is one of the things we talk about through our coaching class. And one of the first articles, one of the articles that Bob Proctor put out, the first thing sentence here is responsibility is a choice, and it is truly the key to freedom.
Mhm.
So what do you think about that, Sarita?
Something really interesting came to my mind. I remember the first time that I took really big responsibility was when I was a teen. Uh, Usually, when I do something that I know my parents didn't approve of, I never took responsibility. Always found some way to hide what I was doing. And that was normally backed by fear. But the moment I decided to take responsibility, it actually shifted everything for me. And you might be thinking, and you remember that as a teen? I do. I actually do, because I was able to talk more boldly to my parents. And I see how being responsible has played out a lot in my life. So you said, it's the key to freedom. It's the key to freedom because I was able to express myself. I was able to take ownership and also not to let anyone have anything over me. That's how I view responsibility. What about you? What's your take on it?
I think the main thing with responsibility is that once you really take full responsibility over your life, um, and realize that all the results that you're getting today are based on what you're doing, how you're feeling, and if you can eliminate the blame for anything that's happening in your life, then that's part of getting to that freedom, because then you really have true control over the
Mhm.
results that you're getting in your life.
Yes, absolutely. And this blame game, in the moment, it feels good because you feel as if you are taking something from yourself and putting it onto someone else. But that's actually not the case, because there is an energy around it when you shift that responsibility and you think that you're free. You have enslaved yourself more because you've given away your power to the other person. And it might sound counterintuitive. Someone listening might think, no, I give blame because I don't want to take the responsibility. I don't want to have that feeling. But if you stop to, in that moment or even afterwards, to think about how you feel when you give blame to someone else, you actually do feel bad inside. You feel a burden on yourself.
Mhm.
So this is where the energy part of it comes in.
Yeah, and I think that's important, right? Blaming is not a good energy to be in. And I think you can take this responsibility for many facets of life.
Mhm.
If you look at from a business perspective, right, whenever you're working with people and you give them part of your responsibility to do, well, I think most people, and if it's not getting done, you still have to take the responsibility that, that was your choice. Especially if you're running a business, it's your business. You're responsible for anything that happens. And, I think people really admire others who take the responsibility of things that are happening and not blame other people for
Mhm.
results, because you are the only one that's in control of your results.
Mhm. Absolutely. And just to add a little part to that, when you talk, when you say that in a business, when you also accept the responsibility, you also learn something, whether it's about the business or about yourself. And in that way, it's more empowerment to you as a business owner or even as a colleague. So it works out better either way. In the moment, it might seem like it doesn't, but it does work out. And it comes back to that fair aspect of it. Like, why would a business owner or a colleague want to shirk their responsibility? Why would they want to put it off on someone? It's the fear of doing the actual work. You want more free time for yourself. I mean, I don't know what the reasons are, but when you put on the responsibility that's meant to be yours to someone else, you don't learn anything from doing that activity. And you don't learn anything from, or you don't grow then into the position that was yours. That's my take. That's my thinking around that.
Yeah, and I think the other part of that is that you're now giving away your power. That
Mhm.
person now becomes the giver and you become the receiver. And
Wow.
you are relying on what they're doing. So you're
That's a
giving
good
away
one.
part of that
That's
power as well.
that's
Yeah.
really good. That's
You know,
really good.
there was another point I think which would help people, and this is part of in the responsibility article that we read, but hopefully this might help some people. Um, they say there is a big difference between being responsible for and being responsible to,
Mm.
right? So, and it talks a little bit about, about how some people will think that they are responsible for their grown children, you know, and there's a point where people are responsible for themselves, right?
Mhm.
Um, so the correct interpretation of this is you are responsible for your feelings and your results, not another person's. You may be responsible to another person for one thing or another, but not for another person. And the only time that this may change is if you have children, under the age
Mhm.
of 18, where you're responsible for and to them. But once they've grown and they're out on their own, you are no longer responsible for them. They're responsible for their own actions, for their own feelings. They're responsible for themselves.
Mhm. Yeah, true. Two things came up for me for that point. I wondered about my responsibility to my parents because she's now older. My dad passed away, but I thought about the responsibility to parents as children. And I am not responsible for, but there is a responsibility to, just out of, from my own perspective, just out of respect, because my parents were always there for me. So this, when I read it, I was like, oh, wow, so deep. And the second part was being married. I, because I like when people are happy around me. So I always thought, I want to ensure that my husband is always in the best mood. So always be in good spirits. And I realized that I'm responsible for myself. So yeah, it's good for me to be in a good mood. But if something is going on with him and he just wants to sulk, then I can just remove myself from that. But I never let someone else affect my energy and my happiness that way. And it helps as well because if he's not in a good mood and he realized that I'm still in a good mood, he normally switches. So I think for me, and what I could share with persons listening is that if you're normally like this person that's more upbeat and you're around persons that maybe they have something going on, you can maintain your energy. You can take that responsibility on yourself. Like, listen, I'm responsible for my energy. I'm responsible for my vibration and being the person that I'm supposed to be. So I'm going to continue being this way, and everything else will flow to me, person, circumstances, situations. in
Mhm.
the same energy will flow to me.
Yeah, that's very good. And I think what I've experienced is if you can take control and responsibility for yourself, staying in that high level of energy, that, things start to change around you. So you can influence other people, by your attitude.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. Anything else in the article that stuck out to you that you think would be helpful for people?
Well, just to reiterate what you said, that you're not your results, but you're responsible for your results. And I think this is something that you always, say, and just wanted to reiterate that. And one of the quotes that stuck out for me was, responsibility is the price of greatness. And that is from Winston Churchill. Responsibility is the price for greatness. That speaks so many volumes, because it goes back to what we were saying, at work, in any environment that you're in. You don't know what's coming to you if you are letting go of being responsible for your results, for your actions, for your vibration, for your energy. If you don't take responsibility for those things, then you could actually be losing out on life, on all the good that could be coming to you. So just to break it down, I mean, really simple. Of course, Winston Churchill was very influential man. So he knows what he's talking about.
Hmm. Yeah, that's very good. There's another quote here too, that the opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice, it is conformity. And I thought that
Mhm.
was so good. And I remember whenever we were learning, from Bob, learning all of this material, really learning how to create our life, the one thing he would tell us was, if 98 people are walking one way and two people are walking the other way, you might want to follow the two people because they're actually thinking. And
Mhm.
I always think about that because, conformity, without thinking about what path you want to take, is not true responsibility. You really have to be responsible for your choices. You have to be responsible for what are my decisions in life, and you have to be a free thinker and think on your own and not just go along with the crowd just because that's what the crowd's doing.
Yeah, so good. It's a lonely path, I think.
Well, yeah, until you meet the right people who are taking the same path, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, but I really, really love that. And it also makes you a bit more creative, I think, if you're not just conforming to everything that you see, but you're able to come up with new ideas. So you might be out there by yourself, and you might be a loner, but the loners are the ones that impact history. You think about all the people that ever invented something or accomplished anything, people thought they were strange at the time,
Mm.
but the comforts that we enjoy now are because of those very people that were the two persons that were walking that way, not the 98.
Right.
So,
So I think just as an example of that is like the Wright brothers, right?
mhm,
They
mhm.
were they were open-minded, trying to get an airplane to fly. They were bicycle mechanics, had the idea of getting the airplane to fly in the air, and people thought, wow, they'll never do it. But they always thought they would. And now today we're flying everywhere, right? We can get to any country anytime we want to, by their invention. So that's a really large one there. But I think the point being is that if you're a free thinker and you have an ideal, about how you want your life to be, it is doable. It is very, very possible. Um, and there's simple steps to follow to bring in that reality.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, so I think we can wrap it up for today. We were wanting to keep it 10 to 15 minutes. I have a affirmation here. you know, if we were to say this every day, and it is, I am responsible for my life, for my feelings, for my personal growth, and for every result I get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
very good. So Sarita, anything else you'd like to say before we wrap it up for today?
Yes. Be responsible. Continue being responsible. The greatness, whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you, the world needs it. So though it might seem like a brave thing to do, and it is, you owe it to yourself to shine. And yeah,
To
it's the best
shine,
thing.
to be you owe it to yourself to find that happiness, to express your
Yeah.
unique gifts and talents, right? Um,
Yes.
that's where we get to the true happiness of our life whenever we can realize what that is and go for it. Yeah. All right. Well, very good. Thanks everyone for joining. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And we will be back next week. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.